Maybe it's just me. I don't remember it being that difficult to find a place to drink as a teenager. So Ma tells the story of a middle-aged woman who's very alone and finds friendship in a bunch of teenagers that she allows to drink and party in her basement. But lo and behold, she has a very broken past and some sinister motivations for her newfound friendships. Alright guys, well, on a weekend where most people could not wait to see Godzilla kick some ass on the big screen, I actually was looking more forward to seeing Octavia Spencer kick some ass on the big screen. She is an A-list actress. She's got an Oscar for The Help, which is the same director of this film. The trailer really grabbed me, not only with the premise, but just seeing an A-list actress like this take a role in the horror genre and being able to kind of have the leash off of her and kind of see how dark and sinister she can be. I love seeing actors and actresses kind of dive into the horror genre and see what they've got, see what they can bring that's possibly new or refreshing to the genre. It's heartwarming to see somebody that doesn't need to do a horror movie in this point in their career take on my favorite genre, and I was really interested in seeing what Octavia Spencer could do in this role. And starting right off with the positives, she is the main positive of Ma. Octavia Spencer is damn good in this movie. Like, she's somebody that's so good that you're like, please do more stuff like this. We know you can do good with everything else. We've seen it. We've awarded you for it. But she is so good in this at playing like the nice, sweet, friendly lady that, you know, even knowing that there's probably something sinister going on because we're the audience, you're like, I could see teenagers kind of being seduced a little bit by this. I could see them wanting to kind of have a relationship with this nice lady. But when things start to go a little bit dark and a little bit south, she does equally as good, if not better, at showing the dark, sinister side of Ma. And she is the reason to go see this movie. She's the main draw for the film. She's the main thing that people are going to be walking out talking about when they get out of this movie. And regardless of what spectrum you land on with how much you like or hate this movie, everybody from 0 stars to 5 stars walking out of Ma is going to talk about how good Octavia Spencer was in the film.
What? Love Ma.
Oh, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
How did she get our numbers?
You know where the party is?
Those earrings are beautiful, Maggie. You got a sweet mama, huh?
And I like the premise. It's a different enough premise for a horror movie or a thriller, whatever you decide to call Ma. You know, just kids looking for a place to be kids. They get brought in by this innocent, very helpful and fun enough seeming woman. And lo and behold, there is some shit about to go down that they do not see forthcoming. It's a nice little premise. I think that the trailer drew me in with that premise as much as the showcase of what Octavia Spencer was going to bring to this. And it didn't bore me. You know, it was a premise that I was like, okay, I understand where you're going with this. Now, wow me with how far you're going to take it. But I wasn't wowed. I was not wowed, people. This is chapter 2 of a weekend where I guess Hollywood decided to stick their dumbest fucking scripts available back to back, because I have a hard time debating what script and which characters were dumber, the ones in Godzilla or the ones in Ma. First of all, let me forewarn you, I know I've been somebody who's had a very loud voice against shit like this, so I might as well throw it out here now. The marketing and the trailers gave away this entire fucking movie. I had an inkling that maybe they were doing that when I saw the trailer, because I was like, well, that seems like some third act shit throughout this. Basically, everything that could possibly be revealed throughout the very interesting premise is revealed in the trailer. Even little flashes of it. Like, you watch the trailer and you sit down in the movie and you're like, well, as things starts to piece along, you're like, I know exactly where this is going. And I did. Knew every single secret around every single corner. I knew every twist and turn that was going on. And I knew where the movie was eventually heading in the third act. Thanks, trailers. But moving on to the actual movie, goddamn, this script is rough. Rough. This thing feels like a lazy first draft weekend written thing that just, they said, sounds interesting enough. We got Octavia Spencer. She's going to do a favor for the director. Let's just roll cameras. No, this thing needed some extra TLC, because, you know, movies in general, especially in the horror genre, you always have this struggle with writing and with writers where they have to keep this premise going believably for 3 acts, while having a lot of what hopefully will be realistic character interactions, realistic character reactions, and character decisions throughout that don't make the script end up being ridiculous. Ma, nope, does not work at all, because you get this premise, and as soon as things start to get a little bit hairy, as soon as characters start to realize that Ma is not exactly who she says she is, who she portrays herself as, and you really can start to see where they see things are going in a very dark and south direction, the character decisions made in this movie are fucking insufferably, infuriatingly, ridiculously stupid. And again, I know it's the horror genre, it's fucking infamous for that stuff, but we're beyond that now, I think. Especially with a script like this that merits an actress like Octavia Spencer coming in to play your villain. There's no excuse why your script is so lazily written that your premise completely falls apart, because every single time a character has the ability to do something to completely stop the movie on a dime, you didn't think to write around that or to put some kind of reason why they wouldn't make the obvious human decision that anybody else in reality would make. Let me set the stage for you, and this isn't really a spoiler because they show pretty much everything in the trailer. Remember the trailer I told you about? Yeah, that one. You get towards the third act of the film. By this point, your main character knows for a fact that Ma is fucked in the head, possibly murderous, and definitely has some kind of ulterior motives for why she's hanging out with not only her, but all of her friends. And Ma sends her a video from her cell phone partying in her basement with all of this character's friends, clearly luring her to the house. Like, that's even the tone she has in the video is like, look who's here, they're in trouble if you don't get your ass to this basement. And she goes to the house. Call the fucking cops! There is absolutely no reason why this character would be afraid to call the cops. She's not guilty of any crime, nor is her fucking friends. It's not like they would get arrested for drinking when you have this murderous bitch who is giving out ungodly amounts of alcohol to 50, 60 teenagers and is doing all this crazy shit. When they got there, they would arrest Ma on the fucking spot and nobody would give a fuck about any of the teenagers that were drunk. They would call their parents, send them on their merry way. We have caught the criminal. But the character doesn't call the cops. There's not even the motivation of not wanting her mother to find out that she's been drinking with Ma, because again, not really a spoiler alert, by this point in the movie, her mother has already been told that Ma is fucked in the head. I don't want to be around her anymore. If she comes to this house, don't let her in. And this is why. This is all the things that I've done with Ma, and this is the research that I've done. This is the experience that I've had. This is why I don't like this woman. All of that shit has already happened by this point in the movie. But this character doesn't call the cops. She goes to the fucking house. Shit like that throughout this entire movie where you're like, that makes absolutely zero fucking sense for any human being to do. Maybe it's because I'm really defensive of the horror genre that I really get pissed off and I get sick and tired of seeing lazy scripts like this shoved out into the horror genre, especially in a movie that gives us an actress like Octavia Spencer and gives horror fans a little bit of hope that this is going to be another one of those great horror films that rise above what non-horror fans believe horror to be. And the reason that non-horror fans believe horror to be this lesser genre with shitty scripts and bad acting and no merit whatsoever other than blood, guts, and tits is because of scripts like this. Because anybody with half a fucking brain looks at these characters and goes, are you retarded? How are you not getting out of this situation?
What happened last night?
You don't remember, do you?
Are you guys mad at me for something?
I don't want to hang out at Ma's anymore.
Don't make me drink alone. Don't make me drink alone.
Woosah. That was the big one. Beyond that, more negatives with this film, which still kind of go back to script. The writing for your main teenage cast is not very good at all. They don't feel natural, they don't feel realistic, and you don't buy into anything that they do. And beyond that, they're not even really that likable. Like, the main character is decently likable enough, but especially all of her friends, it's just, they're teenagers, so they're dumb and they're unlikable on the teenager way that they are, because you look at them, especially as an adult and as a father, and you're like, you need discipline now. But they're just not that likable. You have the arrogant, good-looking jock guy who just annoys you because he's so cocky. You get the extremely bitchy, stuck-up popular girl. You get the kid that is portrayed to be like the innocent one, the one who's smart enough to stay out of certain situations, but he's right there with everybody else, so he just says that he's smarter, but he's really not. And then you get the one guy who, sorry if this is controversial, he's basically the token of the group. I apologize, I didn't write the movie. And they don't give him anything to do. Like, he says one line in the movie where he's like, hey guys, we don't really know this woman, I don't think we should go in there. And all the white kids are like, come on, let's go. And he just goes with them. That's his role in the movie is, all right, I tried. And I'm like, okay, that's all we get from him, I guess. And it just, there's no characters in this movie, even the adult characters like that tie in with Ma's past and some of the parents of the kids and everything, they're not even likable. So there's really nobody in this film that you're really genuinely rooting for. Octavia Spencer's charming through part of it, but you walk into the movie knowing that she's fucked in the head, so that charm diminishes very quickly. So that's a problem too with the script writing, is that there's not really anybody in this script that you're genuinely rooting for, especially with how stupid they write their decisions, because by the middle of the second act, you're like, fuck it, if everybody dies, I really don't even care. They're dumb, they deserve it.
Woo! Maggie came to party. Let's get filthy.
And the last issue that I have, which again kind of goes back to writing, is that I really don't feel like they portrayed this story of Ma the best way that they could have. You walk in again in the movie knowing where things eventually are heading. You know it's going to head in a dark direction, so you know there's going to be some reveals or some kind of changes with motivation throughout the film that's going to make Ma go from this nice seeming lady to a psychopath. Well, they basically throw everything and leave everything on the table from the very first act of the movie. Like, there's maybe 5 minutes of the film where you feel like she might be innocent or she might be a nice lady, but the film kind of front loads everything with, no, there's some motivations there. There's a reason why she's bringing them to the house. She's planning some stuff. She's being a little bit of a stalker. The movie starts with her kind of being a psycho. And I feel like the movie would have been much better and the story would have been much better served if they had held a lot of that back until the third act. Like, obviously we know there's going to be reveals, but when you show pieces of her past throughout the entire film, and immediately after they meet Ma, she's on Facebook stalking all of them. Like, whenever you tell us she's a psycho from the beginning, there's not a whole lot left to reveal. So as soon as the characters start to dislike Ma, the movie really starts to drag because there's no reveals left to have, because we already have been told by the movie and by the script that she's a psycho. So you're just waiting for the crazy shit to happen. Oh, and as a horror fan, this is the one thing that I will say has nothing to do with the writing. It's just maybe the direction or the balls that Blumhouse had while making this. It feels like it holds back when it shouldn't. It could have saved this movie a lot if they had gone to some really grisly places in this film. If they had shown some stuff that would shock you, if they had taken Ma to 11, you know what I mean? There's scenes in this movie that go far that feel like it was unnecessary to go that far, and then the scenes that feel like you should go far are dialed back. And that was very jarring for me. Like, for example, there's a scene where she's getting ready to cut a guy's dick off, and it shows her grab a dick. Whether it's the actor's dick or a rubber dick, I don't know. But you showed us a dick. But when you get to like where killings are happening, the film is very tame for an R-rated film, which seems like it suits the language more than the actual gore. So if they had just really gone for it and given us some grisly kills or taken us to some shocking, fates of certain characters that would have been like, oh shit, I didn't see that coming, I could forgive a little bit more than I'm forgiving here. But I didn't even get the carnage candy that I was hoping I was going to get in this movie. I don't need to see a dick, but if you're going to show a dick, show some kills. Somebody put that on a t-shirt right now. Cody Leach trademark. If you're gonna show a dick, show some kills. So all in all, guys, it was a big disappointment walking out of Ma, because especially with the instant credibility that you see with having Octavia Spencer being on the poster and being in the trailers, this A-list Oscar-winning actress playing a horror villain, The script is just a huge disservice to her, and it sucks as a horror fan to see something that gives you a glimmer of hope, like, yes, another one of these movies that's gonna legitimize the horror genre. Oh fuck, they're doing dumb shit again. So if you're a fan of Octavia Spencer, or if you're just curious on where she can go as far as taking a performance to really dark places, that's pretty much the only reason to check this film out, and that is the only thing that this film delivers in spades. But be patient, save as much money as possible, and wait for this thing to come online at even a discount price. Just hold off and stream it. So what do you guys think of Ma? Do you feel like Octavia Spencer delivered in this and it was a shame that the rest of the movie did not? Did the movie actually deliver for you and you had some shocks and some surprises along the way? Did you have as many issues with the script as I did? Did any of you actually dislike Octavia Spencer's performance? Put all of your thoughts on Ma down in the comment section below and we will talk about it. Please like and share this video. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber. If you guys want to check out some social media links, you can check the video description below for Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Spreadshirt for Cody Leach t-shirts and other merchandise, and my Patreon page, which is a great way to give back to this channel, help this channel grow, and get cool exclusive content for your eyes only. So check that stuff out, guys. And if you want to check out some more of my videos, you can check out those videos by clicking right over here.